Hello and welcome once more to Cave Cat's movie and TV reviews, once again with the one and only Cave Cat. If there's one thing that most people really enjoy, it's a good mystery show. I mean, you may recall me reviewing one for episode 16 of the series, which would be Columbo, where I gave it a glowing positive review. And now this time, I'm going to review another mystery series, as well as the fifth time that I've reviewed a live-action show or movie. So, for the 51st episode of Cave Cat's movie and TV reviews, I'm going to be talking about Murder, She Wrote, which originally aired on CBS for 12 seasons, premiering back in 1984 before ending in 1996. The show stars the late Angela Lansbury as Jessica Fletcher, a widowed former English teacher who makes a living as a mystery writer, all while residing in the fictional town of Cabot Cove in Maine. Despite her career as a mystery writer, she often interacts with quite a number of pretty interesting characters also living in Cabot Cove, ranging from the local sheriff, the local doctor, the local realtor, and others. I actually remember watching the show on television when I was younger, as it was a show that my family and I would watch at night before bedtime, even if I didn't remember any of the episodes I saw on TV all those years ago, because I was a little kid with the memory of a goldfish, for the most part. But aside from that, I never saw the show again as I got older, until about a year ago, when my mom discovered it airing in reruns on Star TV. So every morning we would watch reruns of Murder, She Wrote. Okay, enough feelings of nostalgia. It's time to start this review. As mentioned before, the show is about Jessica Fletcher living in Cabot Cove and interacting with a lot of the citizens that live there, while also solving mysteries that arise not only in Cabot Cove but also in other places that Jessica visits. Much like in Columbo, a lot of the mysteries usually involve murder, though in this case, an innocent party ends up being framed for the murder, so it's up to Jessica to solve the mystery. What follows after that is Jessica going through each and every escapade to solve the mystery thanks to her experience as a mystery writer. A lot of times, the investigations can have a good mix of suspense, action, and comedy, but most of the time they mainly go for a more suspenseful tone to add tension to the show. However, that doesn't stop the show from keeping the audience entertained and on the edge of their seats as they watch what lengths Jessica will go to solve the crime and catch the perpetrator in the act. And also, Jessica herself is actually a pretty fun character because even though she's very successful as a mystery writer and is famous among a lot of people she meets in different places, she's also humble, down to earth, idealistic, and very intelligent, but not at the expense of being an amateur detective. A lot of the Cabot Cove residents that she interacts with are also fun characters as well. There's Sheriff Amos Tupner, played by the late Tom Bosley of Happy Days fame, who's the constantly exasperated county sheriff before he got replaced by Sheriff Mort Metzger, who was played by the equally late Ron Masak, Dr. Seth Hazlitt, the town doctor who's always supportive of Jessica, Grady Fletcher, Jessica's nephew who always seems to get the short end of the stick when it comes to the law, and many other recurring characters. However, not every episode of the series focuses on Jessica solving mysteries. There are also some episodes where she'll break the fourth wall and talk directly to the viewers, much like what Alfred Hitchcock would do in Alfred Hitchcock Presents, where Jessica would explain to the viewers either about a plot from one of her books or a mystery that one of her other friends was able to solve on their own. What follows after that is the episode focusing on either the plot of the book that Jessica was describing or the friend who is acquainted with Jessica doing his or her own investigations. Some people may not seem to like this occasional format change of the show, but I think that's a nice change of pace from the usual formula of seeing Jessica solve the mystery at hand. Because sometimes it's good to shake up the formula a little bit when it seems that things have started to drag a bit too long. In fact, the same thing also happened with the Scooby-Doo franchise when halfway through the fourth incarnation Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo, the producers at Hanna-Barbera decided to abandon the mystery-solving formula and have Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy go through their own adventures and encounter real ghosts and monsters, as opposed to people disguising themselves as ghosts and monsters. The same thing also happened with the seventh incarnation, the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. But back to Murder, She Wrote. I think that's a pretty fun show, and it's fun to see Jessica solve various mysteries or to see her explain the plot of her novels in some episodes. However, the show was not without its snags. When the show was in production, the producers originally did not intend to have Angela Lansbury in the main role at all, but rather Jean Stapleton. And while she was somewhat interested in taking part in the project, she ended up turning it down, which ended up spelling trouble for the producers. The producers were rather hesitant to hire Angela Lansbury for the role because they didn't think that she would be interested in starring in a TV series, mainly because of the fact that she was more known for her roles in film and theater, most notably when she had roles in Disney's Bedknobs and Broomsticks and Rankin Bass's The Last Unicorn. Despite this, when Angela Lansbury was sent the script for the show, she immediately signed on, and once that happened, Angela Lansbury soon became a household name the world over thanks to her portrayal as Jessica Fletcher. But despite this, there was another problem that arose regarding the show. See, back in 1988, when the show got picked up for its fifth season, Angela Lansbury had considered retiring from the show altogether, with the possibility that season 5 would be the final season of the entire show. However, the crew behind the show came up with a solution, which is that they would let Lansbury rest up a bit while also having her appear in episodes where she only appeared at the beginning and end of said episodes, which explains why the show shook up the formula and had episodes with Jessica pulling an Alfred Hitchcock to the viewers, as I mentioned before. This lasted for 2 seasons until 1991, when Lansbury returned to the show full time and even served as an executive producer on the show as well. And this was also the same year where she played the part of Mrs. Potts in Disney's Beauty and the Beast. And as for the show itself, I still think it's a fun mystery show, and while it's not quite as consistent as Columbo, it's still pretty enjoyable to see Jessica Fletcher use her wits, and especially her mystery writing knowledge, to solve any kind of mystery that comes her way. From the episodes I've seen of the series, she solved mysteries involving the death of a party guest that was dressed as Sherlock Holmes, a dog being blamed for the death of a southern horseback rider, the death of an artist on his birthday, a prison guard being murdered, several customers getting food poisoning after eating at the Joshua Peabody Inn with one of them dying, and many, many others. It's very clear that the producers did a great job bringing the concept of a mystery writer solving real-life mysteries to life, being successful enough to last for 12 seasons until ending in 1996, as I mentioned earlier. Angela Lansbury and every other cast member on the set also did a great job with the characters that were offered to them. I like everything about the show: the characters, the plot, the concept, everything. Murder, She Wrote very clearly gets 8 stars. After the show ended with its 12th season in 1996, the producers made 4 TV films based off of Murder, She Wrote from 1997 to 2003. I've not seen any of them, so I can't exactly give my thoughts on what I think of them. Not to mention there was also the news of Universal producing a film adaptation of Murder, She Wrote, with Jamie Lee Curtis in the role of Jessica Fletcher. I'm not exactly sure what to think of this news, because as I've explained before in a lot of my previous reviews, sometimes film adaptations of old TV shows can have very mixed results. They can either be a great representation of the TV show that's based on, or they could just absolutely mess up everything that made the show great, mainly because the filmmakers hadn't actually watched the show. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis is a great actress and all, even getting to star in the sequel to 2003's Freaky Friday, Freakier Friday, but I'm not sure if she'll be able to capture Angela Lansbury's original portrayal of Jessica Fletcher. She might, but we'll just have to wait and see for ourselves if she can actually pull off a very feasible performance as Jessica Fletcher. Then again, the same thing happened with the James Bond films, when the filmmakers would get a different actor to portray James Bond for a few films, then replace that actor with another actor for the next few films. And those actors that succeeded Sean Connery in the role actually did a rather passable portrayal as Agent 007 himself. And if there is a slim chance that Jamie Lee Curtis can actually capture the style of Angela Lansbury's original portrayal of Jessica Fletcher, then who knows? Maybe the film adaptation of Murder, She Wrote might turn out to be one of the rare films based off of a TV series that actually is a good representation of what the show used to be. There's only one way to find out, and that's to actually give the film a watch once it does get released. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Cave Cat's movie and TV reviews. Even after 51 episodes, I'm still going strong with a lot more movies and TV shows to review. As I keep saying, don't forget to like and subscribe, and especially to hit the notification bell for more episodes or other videos that might come your way. Until next time, see you in the future!